there are people in the United States, I wouldn't say the United States is trying to set up, but people in the United States who are trying to erect this Christian fascist state. And one of the newest adherents to this craziness, this Russian American Christian fascism, is J.D. Vance, the first-term senator from Ohio. Now, this annual Munich Security Conference, which really is an anti-Russian kind of meeting, but dozens of U.S. officials and a bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers showed up there. And Vice President Harris, you probably saw some of the videos, she addressed the conference, especially Friday afternoon. Zelensky spoke on Saturday morning after the German Chancellor and before Secretary of State Blinken. And then Vance arrived on Saturday morning, along with several other late arriving members of Congress. And according to the Washington Post, Vance, seeing as how he would be addressing the conference during a panel discussion about U.S.-Europe relations on Sunday morning, you would think that Vance would be curious about what European and Ukrainian leaders had to say. But not Vance. He's a Christian fascist. He doesn't give a fuck what other people think. So despite being on the premises right there at the conference, Vance decided not to attend, along with the bipartisan Senate delegation, a meeting on Saturday with Zelensky, the NATO Secretary General, and the Estonian Prime Minister. Several senators who did attend told the Post that afterwards Vance said, well, I didn't think I learned anything new. And that's another thing about these Christian fascists. They're the most arrogant, while at the same time, the most whiny ass, paranoid little pricks any religion has ever produced. But more likely, the reason Vance didn't go to the meeting, he didn't want to learn facts that might contradict what he was going to say and did say about Europe and Ukraine. And he rolled all that shit out on Sunday in the usual Trump-Putin fashion. Vance and his MAGA allies have been trying to stop the United States from providing additional aid to Ukraine. They want the murder and the killing of Ukrainian people to increase. They want Russia to destroy the country. And they were hiding, these bastards are hiding behind arguments that have no basis in reality, a complete distortion of facts. And if you want to believe the arguments put out by Vance and the rest of these son of a bitches, you got to ignore what European allies and Ukrainians are saying. As Vance did by not going to these meetings. And Josh Rogan, writing at the Washington Post, put it this way. Let me quote this. For example, during his Sunday panel discussion, Vance argued that the United States can't continue to support Ukraine because the U.S. defense industry doesn't produce enough munitions, and the U.S. military must conserve resources for other regions. Vance said, quote, you don't win wars with GDP or euros or dollars. You win wars with weapons, and the West doesn't make enough weapons. Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, Vance is an absolute liar, or he's the most ignorant senator ever to hold office. The United States doesn't produce enough weapons. Oh, my God. In fact, what J.D. Vance is opposing, the legislation he's opposing, according to Josh Rogan, contains billions of dollars to increase U.S. weapons production capacity and to replenish U.S. weapons stocks. Vance is thwarting the solution to the very problem he's complaining about, then pointing back to that problem to justify his real objective, which is abandoning Ukraine. Now, this is what these Christian fascists do. Look what happened last week. after screaming and yelling about border security and a bill to stop the influx of, unwanted people into the United States, a bipartisan group, including Democrats, who gave up every fucking thing but the family farm in order to get this agreement, they came up with an agreement that had all the points that the Christian fascists have been demanding for the past 3 or 4 years. And just when it was ready for a vote, the orange son of a bitch down in Mar-a-Lago took time out for all the criminal activity against him and said to Mike Johnson, "Don't you fucking dare let that come up for a vote." And Mike Johnson immediately fell to his knees and raised his hands to the heavens and said, "Yes, my Lord and Master, I will do as you tell me." Now, obviously, it didn't happen. Well, not obviously, but I don't think it happened that way. But that's how I see it. Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance and the rest of these miserable America-hating bastards, democracy-hating bastards, freedom-hating bastards, they're not going to provide to Zelensky what is desperately needed. Do you realize what's going to happen in Ukraine if somehow the United States does not provide the weapons necessary? And I know I'm talking like a warmonger. I understand that. And it just makes my blood run cold that I have to talk about this shit. About increasing weapons production. Come on, let's have more slaughter. But when it's against a form of Orthodox Christian fascism that has arisen in Russia and paired with American Christian fascism in this country, yeah, well, if it takes weaponry, as it's going to eventually right here, but if it takes weaponry to stop this shit in Ukraine, well, that's what we have to do, right? What's it called? Realpolitik? Brian Schatz, a Democrat from Hawaii, senator, who attended the Munich meeting, told the Washington Post, quote, "If we appropriate this money, the capacity would ramp up, the supply lines would get hot, and J.D. Vance would be proven wrong again." End quote. Now, J.D. Vance, I don't know why he thinks of himself as a military strategy expert, but he's claiming the Ukrainians have no strategy to win. What an arrogant fucker this guy is. Can you imagine if you are living in Ukraine and you've watched your family being blown to pieces, your home blown up, the beauty of Ukraine, the cities being destroyed, and then this little hillbilly son of a bitch comes walking out of the woods and says, well, you folks have no strategy to win. And he's saying that the United States should, get this, should cut a deal with Vladimir Putin. This is what Vance said, according to the Washington Post, quote, "Russia has incentive to come to the table right now." Because Russia understands that Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are not going to allow the desperate people of Ukraine to have the weaponry they need in order to repel this murderous son of a bitch, Vladimir Putin. Now, what is already changing the reality on the battlefield? Vance added that even if the funding does go through, quote, "that's not going to fundamentally change the reality on the battlefield," end quote. What the fuck do you know, Vance? But what is already changing, according to Josh Rogan, what's already changing the reality on the battlefield in Russia's favor are American politicians like J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson, I might add, who are blocking U.S. aid. That Ukrainian town, I'll try it, Avdiivka, fell to Russian forces as this conference was occurring. But if J.D. Vance, in his arrogance, had shown up to the meeting with Zelensky, cowardly prick, Vance. He's not going to go in a room where a real fighter is trying to save democracy in his country. Vance is not interested in that. Vance is a Christian fascist. But had he shown up at that meeting with Zelensky, according to the Washington Post, he would have heard the Ukrainian leader's strategy firsthand. And according to the Post, quote, Zelensky pushed back pretty strongly against the assertion that this is an endless war. He explained his theory of victory. It's compelling. It just lacks ammunition, end quote. Now, the question comes up, can the Russians be defeated by the Ukrainians? Well, it's something to consider. The tribal people in Afghanistan defeated the Russians after a 7 or 8 year long war when Russia, the Soviet Union, occupied Afghanistan until the Afghan tribesmen beat the fuck out of them and made them turn tail and run, the Russian military. And then it was our turn. The United States sent troops into Afghanistan, and we got our asses handed to us too. Arguably the two biggest military powers in the history of the human race had their asses kicked by local tribesmen in Afghanistan who are using surface-to-air missiles and rifles from the goddamn from the Indian occupation. I'm sorry, the English occupation of India. When you invade a country, and look what happened to us in Vietnam. When you are the invader, even if things are not equal where it concerns the number of people willing to go into the slaughter, even if it's not equal where it concerns the weaponry involved, if you are the invader, you are going to have your ass kicked. It's going to be very bloody. And if you do win, you're going to have to deal with the guerrilla movement for the foreseeable future. So when the argument is made by these Christian fascist Putin lovers like J.D. Vance that Russia's going to win anyway, I just wonder where in the fuck he's been when he saw Russia and the United States have our collective asses kicked by Afghan tribesmen. Zelensky, at this meeting in Munich, told the Senate delegation how these delays by Mike Johnson and filth like J.D. Vance were harming not only Ukrainian forces' ability to fight, but also their morale. This is all according to the Washington Post. Zelensky apparently said this. No, Sheldon Whitehouse told this to the Washington Post. Sheldon Whitehouse, senator from Rhode Island. He said, quote, Ukrainian guys in muddy trenches in between being shot at are saying to each other, have you heard anything about the U.S. Congress? Is the money coming? What's going on here? End quote, Sheldon Whitehouse. This is so horrible. It's horrible in Ukraine and the implications, the extension of what's happening in Ukraine that's happening here. It's just awful. Just awful. Just please remember that Trump, this rotten, filthy, subhuman Donald Trump, this lying bastard will do anything at this point to destroy Volodymyr Zelensky because Zelensky refused to go along with Trump's bullshit about Joe Biden in the 2020 election. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.